Say when. a lot's happened since the last time that Courtney got to meet any of the group. One of the few times that I actually did get to. And at that last one, he very well
Wendigo's car.
Stole a Wendigo's car and very likely could have died at that point. Which, of course, leads to the interesting thing of Courtney remembers that.
Yeah, he does.
Not in perfect detail, but...
Wait, I thought he remembered it perfectly because I got like 7 successes.
Oh, no, you're right. You're good. Yeah, so very explicitly, he remembers everything. You're right. And truth be told, that regardless of his clarity after the fact, or the fact that the concern and fear that was instilled on him, it was in some, not magical, because magic in the world of darkness is its own thing. His very spirit had been made afraid.
Had been made what?
Had been made afraid.
Okay.
And while, humans do not have a capital S spirit in regards to like how werewolves deal with spirits, they do have souls. They have ghosts. They have souls. There is a spirit that is involved here. And that was the thing. That was what the Wendigo's lunacy had affected. Which that is not something that you recover from lightly. That's something that you quite possibly may never recover from. It's been 2 weeks. He still has Ben's car in a parking garage somewhere. Probably hasn't touched it since.
No, as a matter of fact, he hasn't gone down into the parking garage since.
Oh, he's going full recluse?
Well, no, he's still got to run his store, but I think he has made sure to avoid the parking garage. Because I think one of his coping mechanisms might be a little bit of aversion.
A little bit, which makes perfect sense with the fact that where we're gonna pick up, it's 2 weeks later. He's avoided the car. He's been trying to pretend that he did not run from his life from a 12-foot tall elk man with murder in its eyes and a werewolf.
Now, Wendigo. He's fully knowledgeable on cryptids. He knows what Wendigos are, and fuck me, Ben is a Wendigo.
I know a Wendigo when I see one. That's what ate Jed last week.
So he's, yeah. So
okay.
So 2 weeks ago, he was firmly brought into the camp that these things are real.
Yeah, and that's probably been also on its own vastly moving experience, because there is a big difference between believing in something and knowing. And to an extent, he now knows very intimately. Because again, his very soul has been touched by this now. And that's why the nightmares haven't stopped either.
Hooray, nightmares.
Because of this, I'm imagining he probably also has not reached out to any of the girls.
Hell no.
No. Because they're all a fast track to maybe Ben wants to get his car back, and that is not conducive towards the avoidance.
Well, no, it's just the whole thing that since meeting this group, weird shit has just been happening left and right. And yeah, no. I'm good.
So here's how this has been going. So for the last 2 weeks, every day, just there's nightmares and then there's night terrors, right? Waking up in a full-on panic. And Courtney is aware enough of a lot of different things that well, I guess to put it as simply as I can, do they write their dreams down ever?
Does Courtney ever write down his dreams?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Okay.
Because if they're bad enough, they'll probably stick with them for a little while, so he'll remember them.
Cool. So here's what I would like for you to do then.
Okay.
You're going to roll me intelligence plus composure. Two successes. Awesome. So Courtney has kind of noticed as these 2 weeks have gone by. Definitely, for the first week, it was pretty much the same thing. It was just the nightmare of reliving exactly what happened. And about day 5, the panic started to kind of die down because you're getting kind of used to it. But then day 6, he noticed something. It was at night that that all of this happened, but it was darker. It starts with, the light in the stairwell was off, or it was just not casting as much light. It's hard to tell. Okay. And then the next night, it was also the hallway. And then the night after that, outside was, the streetlights just really didn't seem to illuminate much. And after he was awake, logically, he's like, how did my... Was it really that dark? I don't think it was actually that dark. The streetlights were on, at least. So, yeah, because it would have been too dark for me to actually drive and see where I was going. Not that it would have stopped me.
The minute he realizes that the dreams are altering, I think there might be a few nights of him trying to stay up.
Mm-hmm. Which, he has a lot of points in willpower. He has a 1 dot stamina. I don't see him really doing that well.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying it was going to be successful. I'm just going to say he's going to try.
Oh, yeah. He tries, and he fails. And so we're going to say that that's what happens on night 8. He's like, wait a second, no, this is weird. I don't like this. I'm going to drink all the coffee I can and stay up. When he does eventually pass out, that's when the dreams get a little bit weirder now. There is no Wendigo. He's just standing in Natalie's apartment. There's no Wendigo. There's no werewolf. There's no... none of the girls are there. Just him. And Dream Courtney walks over to the door. There's still the shreds of the couch there. He walks over to the window. There's no sign of any of the people having arrived. Like, there's no cars out. And when he looks up into the sky, it's like all of the planets are way closer than they should be. Like, at that, he knows that on that night, Venus was supposed to be visible. Venus is like, it's not super close, but Venus is a dot of light. He sees the details of the clouds. It's that big in the sky.
Oh yeah, this is normal.
And then the next night, it's the same thing, but the door is intact. Hell, the door looks nearly new. And now the apartment is also darker. Not significantly darker, but more like mood lighting instead of a full fluorescent bulb.
Yeah, definitely not liking this.
And at this point, this is when he's, the issues with his sleep, the lack of actual rest, it's well beyond starting to affect his health, and it's actually starting to mess with him. He's having a hard time not dozing off in the middle of the day. And you know how, sometimes when you get just incredibly tired, like you don't you're not so much numb, but you don't realize that you were feeling something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't realize that the cat was leaning against your hand until you look over and you're like, oh yeah, I've been feeling that sensation for a little while, right?
Yes.
Something broad, sinuous, just very lightly playing with his hair. When he goes to like bat at his hair to figure out what it was, like maybe it was a spider. That was way too firm to be a spider, but maybe there's nothing there. Turns on all the lights in the shop, and there's no spiders, there's no tarantula hanging from the ceiling. And then about on the 12th night, which I think we're actually past that, so we'll just retcon wherever it started. On the 12th night, when he finally very, very unwillingly ends up falling asleep. We'll say he was like on a chair or something trying to read something to keep his mind focused.
Or probably what I was thinking of when he's trying to stay up, he's watching horrible, like 70s martial arts films.
Okay. So, perfect. There you go. We'll go with that. So he's watching the film, and he knows that he's dozing. So he turns it up. He knows he's dozing. Tries to turn it up some more. And then it starts turning down. And the room's getting dim. And that part of you that is, like, even for people that aren't terribly practiced at lucid dreaming, the part of you that where you can just kind of look at the rules of this reality and suddenly realize, I'm dreaming, that kicks in, and he realizes, oh, I dozed off. Why do I feel the panic from Ben and the Wendigo when my dream now has me in my own place? And whether or not Courtney is normally a lucid dreamer, This is where he. There's also the realization of, oh no, despite this feeling and knowing it's a dream, he has autonomy.
Okay. I'm just with that creepy feeling. I'm just waiting for the Wendigo to show up.
So he's just gonna stay sitting there.
Now, I think he's going to stand up, but he's just kind of bracing himself for in case he has to run.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think he's ever had a lucid dream before.
Okay. So he can. It's less of a feeling and less of a thing actually witnessed, but he just, by the rules of dreams, he just knows that time passes and it keeps passing. Nothing changes. It's, in fact, the scene within the movie that he was watching, because he's seen it before, just drags on. And for some reason, he just knows that that scene isn't going to stop until something. It's hard. Who knows? But he feels like someone's waiting. Someone's watching.
I think Courtney's just kind of thinking like I wonder if this is some sort of weird side effect of the Wendigo nobody ever talks about because no one ever lives.
I mean, that's a thing. It's a valid concern.
He's just gonna look around, see if he can see anything.
Cool. So when he starts looking around and he looks behind himself, uh, the apartment is there. For about 4 or 5 feet. And then the apartment fades. And as he's looking out, he sees, if at first glance, he's like, oh, there's Venus again. Weirdly. Really close. But as he's looking at it, it's that's not Venus. It looked kind of like Venus, but it's not the same. There's other planets. Some of them cracked open and somehow bleeding gases and heat and such out into nothingness. And he sees, nebulas off in the distance.
Okay, this is new.
And then we're gonna say that when he looks down and tries to look back towards his apartment, it's also gone. He feels like he's in some half memory of what space would be, like kind of like a dream version of just standing out in the middle of a void, despite the fact there's nothing for him to stand on. But it feels perfectly solid. And then he feels that touch on the back of his head again. It's not, and he knows for a fact that it's not a metaphor. It's not anything of the sort. It's something touched him.
He'll quickly look behind him.
And again, there's nothing there. But it touches him again, and then it pulls away. And then there's nothing for the sound to bounce off of. There's been no sound this whole time. But then there's this very subtle kind of bassline sound playing, or not playing, but filling the area. There's nothing for it to bounce off of. There's no way to try and determine a point of origin. It seems to just be as much of a rule of this sound is here now as air is when you're awake. You know that the air is there. You can feel it. You can feel pressure from it. And you can feel the pressure of the sound. And one of the stars in front of him starts getting just a little bit brighter. Going from a bright, brilliant blue to a kind of an orange. Oh, I know why this isn't working. One second. And this is when it starts. You can't. Laws of logic would say that, this, this is something star-like. This must be just getting closer, which is concerning on its own. But then you realize that you're trying to use logic, and the logic here isn't quite right. Also, you realize that there's something weird about this star, besides the fact that it's getting bigger, not closer. Yes, it has a vertical slit in it. And you feel, just like how you felt with the Wendigo, that it not just sees you, but it's looking at you.
Okay, out of character, that planet has a really big vagine. or
Right.
or he really lost that ring, man.
Eventually, you feel like this massive thing that's now blotting out nebulas with its sheer size has. It's not that it's stopped choosing to get bigger, or it's not that it's reached its max size. It's simply chosen to stop.
Okay, this is creepy.
And it is that what Courtney actually says?
Yeah, I think he mutters it under his breath.
And at this point, he goes from just feeling it looking at him to every sensation of fear and concern and paranoia that he has felt since he saw this one. All of it comes back at once. Not because he felt it, not because he wanted to, because he's very much obviously focused on this eye. And it's not because he went into this dream already feeling those concerns. But this thing wants to feel them. And so it has pulled all of them through to the surface all at once. And its iris narrows.
Dusting. The thing that fears death. The thing that fears. The thing that wished it could know the truth.
And you're the truth.
I am more of a lie than you are.
I didn't understand that.
I am more of a lie than you are.
Okay, out of character, I think Courtney's a little speechless right now because he doesn't know exactly what to say to that.
You have seen so much. So much to break your world. And yet, your eyes stay closed. You know what you have seen. No, you know what you have not seen.
I know I've seen a Wendigo and a werewolf. It's made me question everything else.
Leave the questions to the awakened. Let them fight with truth. You will open your eyes. And you will learn of every lie that you have ever seen.
And that's when Courtney feels something.
Because as he was he was saying that, Courtney was just kind of like nodding to himself, or nodding with the words.
Mm-hmm. So, at this point, what Courtney feels is a thing that's difficult to put to words. And so all of those concerns that he had felt that the Wendigo's lunacy had made him feel, the werewolf's lunacy had made him feel, and that this eye had done so as well. He feels that much more distinctly now. Almost like it's its own sensation. And he kind of turns to look over his shoulder a little bit. And when he does, of course, the eye, for some reason, this massive eye of plasma and thought, is still in the center of his vision in the distance. Still absolutely massive. But he looks down and he sees his body laying in front of him.
Oh,
There's no harm to it. It's just laying there. You could almost say that he even looks like he's sleeping, if it wasn't for the fact that, again, the rules of dreams, you know things that you have no evidence for. Courtney has died. His heart simply willed to stop beating. His neurons told to stop firing.
well, that sucks. So what do I have to do to open my eyes?
I have given you a gift. You will repay it one day. Know now that death has no hold over your fears. You are no longer as flawed as the lie that birthed you. And in exchange, you now have the ability to see.
Did he?
I
Oh, hang on, Matt. Did he stop after saying you now have the ability to see, or did you say something else? Because I kind of heard a little click of the voice modulator.
I dropped something.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but yeah, so he's like, you now have the ability to see.
So I'm dead.
Only as long as you choose to be so. The Ashen Lands can never claim you. The Darkened Mirror will never own you. Flesh is no longer your prison, and the bleak nothingness can no longer hold you back.
What am I?
Its pupil seems to widen a little bit as it relaxes, looking down at your corpse, looking up at you. And you feel that touch against the back of your head again. And you realize that tendrils of multicolored plasma have been slowly reaching from the nebulas all around you. And it's not grappling you, and it's not, intentionally like touching you. It's just kind of there. Like this is actually the place where it just kind of it relaxes, and that's where you can, or where these tendril-like limbs relax is what I should say. Where touching you is an incidental thing instead of an intentional.
You are a part of me. Apart from apart from the lies. You are the little white falsehood, that initial thread. Pull on the thread in the tapestry of this of deception unravels. To give it name would be a lie itself. To give a name is to limit a thing.
And would I still be this if I went back into my body?
You are not as limited as the ones who puppet the dead flesh. If you wish to feel the touch of warm flesh wrapped around the soul, make it so.
Out of character, Matt, can you explain to me what Ben now is? Or not Ben, but Courtney. Sorry.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Okay, shit.
It's good. You're good. there's going to be expletives.
Bone, sinew, muscle, skin, hair, soul, breath. Magic and spirit. All of these things. All of these lies. Bring them to yourself. Bring them to me.
And that is when Courtney wakes up.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's gasping for air and stuff like that. Just that was beyond fucked up.
When he wakes up, he's laying on the floor. He's face down in front of the TV. That's still obviously been on this whole time. There's a pungent, sweet smell in the apartment.
Oh? Oh. What's the smell of?
It's kind of hard to say, like, but I'll save you the die roll, the truth, because it takes him a couple seconds to realize what the smell is, at least. Like, it's not it comes to you immediately. But why does it smell like food's rotting?
Rotten food?
Mm-hmm.
Gonna go into the kitchen and check it out.
What was the last meal that he had?
I'll say he had Chinese takeout. Fuck it.
It has not only spoiled, but it has spoiled to the point of it went fuzzy. The fuzzy died. It congealed. It refuzzied. And is no longer within the container that it was before. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm not. We're going to say he pulls out a smartphone really quick. It's dead. And as far as looking at this goes, roll me intelligence plus your survival. Or science. Survival or science, pick one. Okay. Okay. Oh, 3 successes.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay.
The point of rot that this is at would take weeks.
Okay, I'm going to run upstairs to the study to find out on my computer what date it is.
Perfect. You click on the clock, and it is 2.5 weeks later.
Oh, what the hell?
And as soon as you say that, you have very vivid memories of something.
Okay.
You've been aware for this 2.5 weeks, and it all comes flood back in that one moment. You walked through places where the Empire State Building was as tall as people imagine it to be. You walked through a literal hellscape. I'm at the place where Christians' thoughts of what Dante's Inferno must have been about. You walked through an imitation of the pits of hell and the mountain. You've walked through places where something's pride and hubris were made manifest. You ended up scaling Mount Olympus itself as people, again, imagine it to be. You visited the realm of the dead, where everything is gray, and imagined at that very point in time when they died, every tree is leafless there. Every ghost only paying attention to itself unless you interact with them. You visited the Fey court in a way where they couldn't see you. You watched the fairies torture each other and their little underlings that they played with, and you haunted a place you don't even know where, but the singing never seemed to stop. Was it a concert? Was it a festival? It's impossible to say. But you know for a fact that you were not a physical thing. You know for a fact that you are not this body. You're something that uses this body. It is your body. It is your property, and that is a universal constant that you know is very hard to argue with. And you also know this is not the body you were in when you first met the Eye. The thing that you can now feel a little bit more of. It's not with you, it's not watching you, it's not a part of you. But you know for a fact that that thing that you were inside of has a hunger that's so great that even if it were to eat a star, it would still feel starving. And the body that you were in when it took you is shouldn't be around. It died weeks ago. You willed this body into existence. You took the spiritual energy from places that you had visited and you used it to create a new shell to inhabit. And that's when it kicks in on what it turned you into, what kind of a lie it made. Because you look like a human. A bullet will kill you just like a human. But when you bend that bits of spirit and soul around to make a new body, you're not human because humans die. You are inconvenienced. And you are now immortal. A true immortal. Something that will never die unless very odd circumstances. And you know for a fact that the thing that hungers for stars is one of the few things that could end you. But you also know that after it made you, it does not care anymore.
Okay. This is gonna take some getting used to. But what is Courtney now?
Oh, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Well, I was actually gonna say I gotta head to bed.
I know. Say goodnight, everybody.
Why did you say goodnight, Jimmy? Because I'm the only one here.
Are you, though?
The Wendigo watches.
Oh, I was wondering why I got that message.
Ladies and gentlemen, we get back to the nightmare and travesty of these poor people's lives.